Hello and welcome to another Sligo Show Olympics special. Never thought we'd be saying that. The other day we'd never interviewed an Olympian, and now we've got two. So our other Sligo Olympian, who's had amazing achievements in the last week as well, Mr. Chris O'Donnell is here to grace us with his presence, and we're delighted and honoured to have you. You're very welcome to the show.
Thanks very much for having me.
It's great to have you all together. So obviously the homecoming, just to go back to that, like that looked amazing, even in the horrible rain. Like it must have felt like you must look like a real hero and a celebrity coming back into town like that.
Yeah, it was the adrenaline that I got from it was crazy. So I was straight off the flight from Tokyo, which was like, in total the travel was like over 30 hours.
Yes.
We had to fly to Doha, had a stop over there, then Doha to Ireland, and overall it was just like 30 hours. So I was straight off there from Dublin Airport on the way to Sligo and got straight off. So I was absolutely shattered. But then once I got in that car and I seen the crowds, just the adrenaline kicked in, and it was
I can imagine. I presume it started before Sligo maybe as well. Was it probably some people watching along the way?
We went from Colooney to Cliffney really, and there was crowds along the way. It was just unbelievable.
And I think you were delayed as well in Dublin with the famous Farmer's Hay. Is that right?
we were delayed, all right. Yeah, there was something.
You thought, God, they're lighting a really big hay fire for us all together. We're in Dublin.
Yeah, so that meant people had to stand out even more in the rain, and we were probably delayed like an hour. So there were people standing out getting soaked for an hour.
But it must have made you feel like, wow, this is unreal.
Like, how can I even say thanks to that?
Well, I think everyone has seen it in all of your interviews. Both yourself and Mona, like you really are very, very humble, and you're very appreciative of what everyone has been doing. But for Sligo, it's been a great lift and great buzz to see it.
Yeah, and it's just the support as well that we got over there. Like because we were a bit isolated there with no kind of fans.
No fans or family. Yeah.
So the messages coming in and all
non-stop.
of
that. Were you allowed to have your phone all the time, or were you like, I can't distract myself? Like?
I know there's like a bit of both. Like you don't want to be on your phone too much, but then you also have a lot of downtime. So you be training and competing, and then there's still a lot of time kind of in the village there, just hanging around. So it is.
So you would be checking.
Yeah, I'll always
people pestering you for interviews and.
It's a privilege.
So you seem to be a lucky one. How did you get to stay longer in Tokyo? What was the rules like, or how do you get to have an extended break?
I haven't a clue. Yeah, we got lucky. We stayed an extra week. So most other countries, as soon as they got knocked out, they're on the flight home the next day.
Gone.
Yeah, literally the next day.
So you must have been charming someone, were you?
We must have done okay. They were nice to us in the end, but to get an extra week. Because the 2 days after was probably a bit tough. You're just like a bit like, oh well, now what? But then it kind of sunk in after 2 days, and I really enjoyed then the last.
And you met the Brazilian soccer team. I seen a picture.
Met them all. Yeah. Dani Alves was there.
Oh wow!
Okay. Then they went on to win, so I'll claim that one as well.
There you go. Well, you give them a few tips.
Yeah,
so that's obviously what happened.
Me,
So back to the Olympics itself. I mean, look, I know it obviously was amazing for you, but like. Obviously, first time there, like, what was it like landing down, seeing this whole city, seeing the village itself? Like, it must have just been a surreal experience.
Yeah, it was.
Seeing all that.
Yeah, the village itself is like kind of a world in itself, a bubble. It's like you don't kind of think the outside world exists almost.
Yeah, because everything's in it.
Everything's there. Yeah, everything that you need. All the countries are there, and so before the Olympics, we went to a city called Fukuroi, which is about 4 hours away from Tokyo. We were there for 2 weeks first to get acclimatized and all that, and the people there were just absolutely unbelievable. The staff, like the friendliest people I've ever met. And then once we go into Tokyo, it's amazing. They just loved us, bowing down to us. And
really, they're just so excited to see the Olympics.
You walk past someone, they'll stop what they're doing, they'll bow down to you, they'll smile, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, you're like, this is definitely, I don't get this at home.
I have to come home today.
We'll try Sligo. We'll get people to see maybe when they do it.
People at Sligo are nice as well.
And walking into the stadium for the first time, like I assume you get in to do a bit of practice. Is it, or is it in for the event?
Yeah, well, I was competing on the first day, so the day before that, or 2 days before, they had it open to kind of practice and that. So I was lucky to get in that day, and we were able to see what it's like. It's unbelievable.
Like when I walk into the likes of Croke Park, you get wow, but over there that must have been just surreal altogether.
You see the Olympic rings and you see all this, and obviously we were competing late at night, so I was under the lights, which made it even a bit more special. You could really sense something was happening.
And like that's one thing you mentioned there about acclimatizing. Like, was the heat, did you find it a big factor, or like, I've never obviously had to acclimatise for an Olympics, but like, did you find, I was fine after the 2 weeks? Like, or you still found it difficult?
No, I was fine. I enjoy the heat, to be honest. Okay. I'm really, really like that. So it was 39, 40 degrees at times, which was fairly sweltering, and the humidity is really high as well. But it was more the jet lag was kind of the first few days. I was waking up at like 5 a.m. buzzing, wide awake. You'd crash really early. So that was the acclimatization period. The holding camp was really good for that. So we were lucky. Like some other camps, or some other teams got their camps cancelled because COVID, blah, blah, blah. But,
wow.
And some other teams are kind of stuck in a hotel where all they could do was train. They couldn't leave the bedrooms other than just go to training and back. But we were in like some sort of resort almost in a jungle, and we could get out for walks
Right.
and all. Yeah, there were snakes and everything. But
Okay, that's good prep.
But it was still,
If you put a few snakes behind you, maybe practicing, that'll get the
that's-
speed up.
Yeah, it certainly was a bit of overspeed training at times. But no, we were able to get out. We had a swimming pool. We were able to get out for walks and stuff like that. Yeah, you couldn't interact with the general public at all. But all I seen of Tokyo now was from inside of a bus on the way to the track now. But look,
Okay.
Still can't complain. Like
No, nice to see it. I'm sure there'll be more journeys, I'm sure, not out in the next few years.
Flat out, yeah.
Fingers crossed. And going out there, like, I know it was a new event, the mixed 400 metre relay. So, like, what was your expectations? You know, were you going, let's make a final, or we're going from it? You know, what kind of way do you kind of control your expectations, and what were you hoping for?
You always have to aim for something. So I suppose realistically, we were, you know, most people said no, we've no chance of making the final. But we always you have to aim for something. So for us, the aim, let's perform out of our skin and see can we make the final. So the target was to make the final. So we had a similar situation at the World Relays back in May in Poland, where again we were big outsiders and we needed to come top 8 to make the final to qualify for the Olympics. And you know, we kind of, everyone says we have no chance going into this, and on the heat we just performed out of our skin. The 4 of us qualified for the final to qualify for the Olympics, and then it was kind of the same mentality. We kind of went into that same spirit of underdogs, but we know if the 4 of us really perform out of our skin, get 4 PBs, which is what happened.
I know, amazing in the
then
the
it just kind of all comes together, and you know, it was probably a miracle, to be honest, to come top 8 in the world. Like, you know,
and there was a great photo when you realised that you qualified, wasn't it, for the final?
Yeah.
Did we? Like,
so obviously, we came 4th in our heat. So 8 teams qualifying. The top 3 are automatic. So then the next 2 are on time. So we had to wait for the next heat to see if our time was good enough. And then when we seen our time is good, we've Q, we're safe. Just like,
and there was no going back. Nothing could go wrong then. It was like, great, we've made it.
Yeah.
And then the Americans and the Dominican Republic were disqualified.
Yeah.
Now, I remember Sonia Sullivan saying something in the coverage that an official actually led them wrong or something. What do you know what had happened, or
that's
why?
What they said. They were disqualified. Like there was clear evidence of them breaking the rules, stepping outside the zone, and then they're DQ'd, and they blamed that an official told them to stand there. But like, if you're a professional athlete for how many years, you should know where to stand on the track.
It's a zone, and
and if someone tells you to stand there, you should really know where to stand. So I don't know why they were allowed back in, and kind of it messed us up a little bit.
That was the thing with the lane draw, I presume. Like, did it get redrawn like where you came? And I presume you would have got a better lane draw than lane 1.
Yeah, every few hours it was getting changed. So we were in lane 5 at the start, which was bang in the middle, and then we were pushed into lane 1. And because USA were initially disqualified, it meant Germany, the next team down, were in.
Okay.
And then when the USA were put back in, Germany were then knocked out. So then Germany went and complained. And then they put Germany in the empty lane.
That's why there was 9. I was like, why?
So there was 9 instead of 8, and then obviously there was carnage and people were falling over each other.
There's 2 of them tripped over, wasn't
so
it?
it's no surprise. The track is meant for 8 teams, not 9. So
even I say when you run that so many times, it's like, well, we're not used to this many people.
like we beat the Germans fair and square the day before, and then they were suddenly in the final. It's like, and then we were thrown into lane 1. It was just absolute carnage. But just making probably Saturday was our final, really, just to get in and be the first Irish team ever to make an Olympic final.
It was amazing, and
history,
you had some finish in your heat, like you particularly really tore up the track. Like.
Yeah, there was.
And you all broke PBs, was it? The 4 of you?
The 4 of us all.
And like, why do you think was that? Was it just that adrenaline? Like you probably can't put your finger on why was it? It just happened.
We just motivated each other. You know, I'd be there in the call room saying, you know, I really believe in you. You know, we can do this. You know, let's all buy into this project. And at the start of the year, you know, to make an Olympics was just something to dream of. And
I can imagine.
then we did it, and then to make the final again. So we just kept that kind of underdog mentality. And yeah, as you said, I had a lot of ground to make up because the Nigerians decided to mix up their order. They put.
That's right. Yeah. They went male, female, male.
Yeah. So I knew that. We knew just before the call room the lineups were announced officially, and I was told that this is going to happen. So I was like, I knew I was going to get the baton with a female way ahead, and I knew, right, you know, this is it's going to be make it interesting, but
Yeah, and
also gives you a target as well.
Yeah, there's no rules about who runs
you
when.
can.
You could do it, but just so it was traditionally done. I know it's a new enough
Yeah.
event, but so would that put you off at all? You're like, okay, I don't care, I'll just deal with it. Like,
Yeah, you obviously it can kind of put you off because you think, oh, they're miles ahead, I'm never going to catch them. But then last 100 meters, you start reeling them in. And you have so much more momentum. So most teams just go male, female, female, male. But yeah, when you mix it up, it makes it really interesting.
Because suppose it does. It makes it more
interesting. You just think, oh, they're going to win, they're miles ahead. But then, the USA had a really fast guy in the last leg as well. And then I had the Belgian, the Borlée, and Santos of Dominican to chase as well, and they've just been around forever. And
I mean, obviously, I presume a lot of the Irish team were quite young for that event. Like,
we're very young, and it was the first time any of us, the four of us, ran together as a team as well. So
at the Olympics, I was going to say next is like it's a relatively new event, and you really didn't get to train as a team much at all. Was it literally kind of up to the Olympics, really? Near the event itself, like?
Yeah, it was just our holding camp in Fukuoka for 2 weeks. We did a good bit of work there on changeovers and that, and it was a different team to the one that qualified in Poland.
Yeah, I've seen that.
As well. So we were used to one team, and then two more people come in, and there's a lot of adjustments to be done. But thankfully, it all went well.
So I presume, does it go on like you have a squad list that you get chosen from, or does it go on your national times, or how are the team chosen? Like,
yeah, it's just probably on times or on current form or whatever. So people were unlucky probably to miss out or casualties, and people feel that there'll always be debate about who should be in the team, but it's the coach's decision at the end of the day.
Sure enough, yeah. And Thomas Barr was in the team that qualified.
Yeah, he was in.
So he obviously decided, well, I can't do two events, was it? Or
it was on. I was on the same
on
day as his 400 metre hurdles, but thankfully the guy that replaced him ran an absolute stormer on first leg. So
Killian Green, is it?
Yeah. So we didn't, with all due respect, we didn't miss Thomas because
I know.
Killian ran so well in the end. So.
And you were saying about the final itself to make it. So you had said, like, look, we'd just love to make the final underdogs. But before the final, were you feeling like, okay, maybe it's a tough lane draw, but did you still kind of harbour ambitions of going, look, we can maybe get close? Or were you kind of going, let's just get another PB? What is in an elite athlete's mind at that point? Like, what's your targets?
Yeah, you always have to
dream,
believe, a medal or whatever. But the USA team on paper, the Poles, are miles ahead on times than us. So for us to make the final, to be the top 8, we were ranked probably, I think, 12th, 13th at least, maybe way down the pecking order. So we passed out a lot of teams on paper just to get into the top 8. So we were just like, let's just roll and see what happens and try run faster again. And in the end, we didn't run faster the second day, and a lot of other teams brought in fresh legs. We just don't have that depth either,
Okay.
We didn't sleep much as well with the adrenaline from the night before. There wasn't much sleep.
I wouldn't blame you now. Yeah. But look, in fairness, it was an amazing event to watch. It was an amazing achievement by what you did, and like you're only gonna go up and up, I imagine, especially with the young age profile of the team. So
we are, yeah.
So it was class. So well done. I mean, I don't need me to tell you how proud of the whole of Sligo and Ireland is, like, So we're going to have a little breather, okay, and we'll come back and chat a little bit more about your early career and home life, and a bit more nerdy questions I have about running in general, okay? So we're just going to have a little video from our sponsors, IT Sligo, who've been very generous to help us put on these Olympic specials. So check this out and we'll talk to you after.
Life is a journey, and the choices you make show the world who you are. From architecture to app design, engineering to entrepreneurship, science to social care. Whatever path you choose, your journey starts here.
So thanks again to IT Sligo who have sponsored these Olympic specials. So we're back again with Chris here. So Chris, we're going back a bit earlier now, pre-Olympics, and at the age of 9, you had 3 goals, and someone had a clip out from a local paper with this. You wanted to be a professional footballer, you wanted to be the fastest runner in the world, and you wanted to go to Stamford Bridge. So the first of those, become a professional footballer. That's kind of your first foot in the door of sport, really, was it? You were playing soccer locally.
Yeah, I always wanted to, I was always doing football and running kind of at the same time.
Okay.
So I was, obviously want to be a footballer, and only took up running really, to improve my speed, which is a strength on the pitch, an asset that I have, to maximise that strength. I was encouraged to go down to the club to do sprint training, and I had no intention of doing any races or competitions. And then after a few years, I was coaxed into doing, Connachts or a few of the local races, and I did okay, and then did a couple more, and then started to do a bit better, and then we're getting to All Irelands, and then you're getting to All Ireland medals. And
get more serious then. You're going, I'm actually not bad at this.
And I just couldn't ignore that. It got to a stage where I was running for Ireland, and I just couldn't really give that up, No,
I can imagine. And I heard you in an interview was saying how you would encourage kids nowadays to do multiple sports because it'll benefit you in the other sport, and then eventually you might find the one that's best for you.
Yeah, what's the rush,
Yeah, exactly. And do you think you'll ever go back to professional football?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I still have those goals.
Yeah.
We need to get the fastest runner first, and then
okay. So you're focused on that one. And have you been to Stamford Bridge?
I have, yeah. So one's halfway there, and then the other will get done.
Yeah, okay. Well, so if Sligo Rovers manager is looking out, I think at the moment I've been no harm to have a fast sprinter down the wing there as well. So
he did say if I can head the ball, I'm in the team. I met him a couple of years ago.
Right.
They were training on the pitch, and I was running on the track, and he came over. And to be fair to him as well, a lot of managers would think they know everything and they've no interest in learning, but he came over and he asked about my nutrition, my recovery warm up, and he was, he's been around and he knows how sport works, but he was still, keen to learn, to be fair to him.
And find out more about yourself. That was nice of him. So so we might see you in the years to come. We'll let you get to all the Olympic goals and all that out of the way first. And so you said you obviously had the mixed sports. So was there a certain age where you're like, okay, now I'm just doing athletics? So was it late teens or?
Yeah, I think it was probably 16. Whereas I was as I said, I was on the international schools team. I had an Ireland under 16 cap and a few national titles, and I just said I'll give it 1 year, and that year went well, and I just didn't look back. I just kept going.
And I mean, when I was researching before this, if I tried to start writing all the different records, medals, different things you've won, so from a young age you were winning national and beyond, bigger than that, titles everywhere, so it definitely was destined that it was going to go bigger and bigger,
Yeah, I couldn't give it up, I suppose.
I mean, as I said, I couldn't go mention them all. I'd be here for half an hour. So it's great. It's great when you're researching these things. You get to see what actually was involved all the way through. And most of your training at a young age was done locally, in Sligo with local clubs, and you did the good old community games, I believe, as well at the start.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, and who locally then, coach-wise, or was there any local runner that you had as an idol that you looked up to?
Yeah, so you have to say Mary Cullen. You're talking about my homecomings there, and there was kids at that watching me. So I was kind of in their position when Mary Cullen come home with a European medal.
Yeah.
I can remember her running around the track, and we were running after her.
You were probably passing her out.
No, it definitely wasn't. So then, that was definitely someone from North Sligo that you looked up to, and there were a lot of guys as well my age. Your Kieran Elliott's, Cian McBride's, William Crowe, and Zach Gowan. We had a lot of Sligo athletes winning national medals kind of before I came along, so I had all those guys to look up to. And I was like, right, I need to join this group kind of and do what they're doing, and they've definitely helped spur me on as well.
And coaching wise then, I mean, was there particular coaches that you found different times of your career, this person really helped me, improve me? Yeah,
at the start I was training at the gravel track in Grange with Rosemary Herity, then eventually moved into the IT Sligo, the tartan track with Roddy Gaynor, and now over in Loughborough now, with new coaches there now.
Yeah, so it's pronounced Loughborough College. Sorry, I was like, is it Loughborough? So Loughborough.
Every single person here, France is like that, so don't worry.
And they have some serious ex-pupils there. Sebastian Coe, I read, Paul Radcliffe, and even Clive Woodward, the ex-rugby manager.
The list goes on. So you've all the facilities over there. And
so that's what I was going to say. What's it like? Difference-wise over there, is it just facilities, or is it a different level of coaching, or is it because you have other elite athletes training which lifts you higher?
All that, to be honest. Yeah. Facilities are absolutely superb. You've got the track, the gym, swimming pool, grass pitches, you name it, and you've got all these other athletes, to look up to as well. So once you think, you'll never get too big for your boots, you'll think, oh, I'm class, but then there's an Olympic gold medalist there next to you. You're like, right, let's calm down a bit.
I know, I can imagine. As I said, what is it, a rising tide lifts all boats, so it's the same for you. And at the moment, you're the current three-time senior 400-metre championship title holder in Ireland. Is that the correct way I should describe it? You've won it 3 years in a row, haven't you?
3 years, yeah.
In a row.
It was 2018 to 2020.
2020. And then you've won other titles at different distances. I'm assuming it's a safe bet. Is 400 metre your preferred, or are you going to start going, I'll do another different 200 maybe, or change?
No, it took a while to get into the 400. I was primarily 100, 200 metre runner, from football, the short sprints.
Yes.
And then the plan was to move up to 4, so we did that eventually. Yeah, no, it's definitely my distance now. So I still dabble in the shorter sprints as well, because they're important. And
again, being a running nerd here now, why did they say you're going to go to 400? Is it because of the build, or do coaches see just the way you run, or what is it they determine that the best event for you?
Yeah, builds. Yeah, I wouldn't be the bulkiest of sprinters. So you don't want to carry too much weight around for 400 meters. And stride length is quite long as well. I'm not really as much of a turnover athlete, so I can use my long stride over 400 meters. It's a smoother event than a shorter sprint. And also I had an aerobic pace, which, as you said, playing multi-sports, I got that probably from football. So 200 meters, when I was running that, I was always kind of finishing strong in my races, coming home strong at the end. So it kind of just made sense. Move up.
So they could see there was more in you, like.
Yeah. I was kind of running out of track sometimes. So now, do the 400, and it kind of fits me like a glove then.
No, well, it definitely seems to suit you from what I've seen so far. So a bit more about running and that as well, and like it's you're classed as a sprinter, obviously. I know it's 400 meter, but it's still a sprinter. So the training for that, is it more like do you do long running to keep your stamina, build up your stamina, or is it weights more so, or what's the kind of key? You don't just run 400 meters of training, I assume. It's a mix.
Yeah, you get sick a lot of times, that's for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do short sprints, so you need for 400 meters. Yeah, it's a crazy event. So you need to be as fast as a short sprinter, and you need to have the endurance of, say, an 800 meter runner as well. So I need to do my short sprints. I need to do my longer runs as well, and aerobic work, everything's circuits and weights. It's mostly powerful stuff in the gym, and all that. Yeah, it all adds up. And you'll be, after a track session, you could be lying down for half an hour on the ground, like just dying.
But like it is, because I've seen most times after interviews, they're for ages still getting their breath back.
The camera's straight in your face. You cross the line and they come up with you with a microphone. I'm like, get away.
You're like, well, I can't not talk to them. Like, I suppose. But like, you can see how long, because it's such a long time. And I know you might be going full pelt every second, but like it's still such a long time to be at that high speed.
It's almost full pelt, like the whole way.
Yeah.
Wow. So the last 50 meters, you're swimming in lactic, and then die on the floor, and then some guy comes over with a camera or a microphone and
let's try to chat.
And then more and more you have to walk upstairs. So in Tokyo, we crossed the finish line, and all the media stations are there, and you pass one by one, and end up asking the same questions. You answer the same answers, and
so there's multiple countries asking you. It's not just Ireland is the main focus. Anyone can be.
Yeah, there'll be World Athletics there, and Eurosport, BBC,
of course,
and some other countries. If you do well, they'll take you in as well. So it can sometimes take an hour just to get through the mix zone, and then you go in, there's newspaper guys are inside.
Oh, wow.
So, all that just after 400 meters. I can't even, they don't even give you time to warm down, God,
I didn't realise it took that long to get up there.
Still in my spikes,
These are the kind of things I love finding out, these nerdy little things like. And look, a stupid question, but obviously you have to be very careful with your diet, but can you, off season, can you have a few pints, or, can you kind of go back to a bit of normality, or do you have to be always really...
No, off season I'll try and eat as much junk food as possible.
Oh, right, okay, so you actually target it.
Yeah, I will target that, So that's probably 2-3 weeks of the year. So
is that like winter time, obviously, I presume?
September time, will be my kind of month off. And just...
So if you want to meet Chris for some pizzas and pints,
September's the month,
And I actually heard you saying that some of the runners in lockdown improved their times because they weren't out having a pint or something. Was that what it was
Could be,
there was no events
I did say
like
that, to be fair,
Yeah, so it's funny. And in the 400 metres itself, it does get quite rough, especially when you're coming in, you know what I mean? Is it just accepted? Look, I'll bash you out of my way, or is it like decorum of no, you don't elbow people, or is it friendly, or is there a real rivalry there?
Well, the relays are chaos, and as I said, when there were 9 teams with the Germans instead of 8 teams, it was pushing, shoving. So even in the heat the day before, I've a guy, Jonathan Borley of Belgium, who's super experienced, and I'm a bit more inexperienced, so he might have picked on me. I was getting pushed and shoved, when we're waiting for the guys to come, and he's there, a few.
Oh, right.
He'll give you a few elbows, but it's all in good spirit, and
so no one ever falls out after, hey, what are you doing? But equally, I thought you were in the race more so, bashing past you, but it's in that little thing, giving a little.
Yeah, because you're waiting for the guys to come, and you're shouting, come on, and then he'll give you a little elbow, put you off, try and lose a bit of balance.
God, this is terrible controversy altogether.
They should have been DQ'd as well.
Maybe we'll get the whole thing reviewed.
We'll bump ourselves up to gold.
And I heard it again, watching some of the videos of it. You said you prefer outdoor. What is the big difference between indoor and outdoor? Is it like the track, or is it something to do with the air, or
Yeah, as you said, the lane. So indoors, it's only a 200-meter track, so it means you have to run 2 laps, and you cut in after 150 meters. So you'll get to 150 in your lane, and then you cut in, and then there's pushing and shoving. But outdoor 400, you're all in your lane the whole way around.
Of course, yes.
So it's a 400 metre track, so you can kind of run your own race a bit.
Yeah.
But then in relays, it's all carnage, elbows and all that. Yeah.
God, I must watch more of these indoor things. Sounds like a great fight altogether. So I suppose to moving on, what is next for you now? What's the next few days? You're obviously at home, and then where do you go then?
Yeah, just a few days at home to catch up with some people who I haven't seen in 2 years, kind of.
Yeah.
Then I'll go back to England for training at the end of the week. I've got another month of racing and training to do, and as I said, then I'll have my September
party time. Okay, we'll remember that one.
And then the focus changes then to next year, which we've got World Championships in America in July and European Championships in Munich in August. So Worlds and Europeans back to back. It'll be very interesting and a big summer next year to look forward to.
Well, I mean, it'll really lay a marker to where you're progressing, I'm sure, from there. Exciting times.
I'm hoping to improve my time from this year on to next year, and hopefully then see where we're at going into Worlds and Europeans. Yeah.
Very good. So at least now, when everyone needs to remember when you're running, and we'll all keep an eye out. We'll give it a plug here in the show when we know what's coming up. Like, it'll be great to see you hopefully progressing even more. I mean, what you've done already is unbelievable, but we'll keep an eye out. In Sligo, we're very lucky. The IT does have an amazing proper track there. Like, as someone now who's at an elite level, is there something would you like to see more facilities, or is there different facilities that's not here that you've seen in other parts of Ireland or other countries? That'd be a great addition. I'm kind of trying to give a dig here to our government. Like, what could we do in the Northwest to help athletes like yourself growing up?
Well, as experienced the homecoming, there is a lot of rain in Sligo, so we could probably do with something indoor.
Okay.
We've got some great facilities in Dublin, Athlone, Cork. They all kind of have an indoor arena, but. So it would be nice to see something, even if it's like a 100-metre track indoors, so you can get some quality work done, during the winter months, even the summer months as well.
Yeah, I assume you can't, with wind and rain, you can't really gauge your times or do anything right.
The conditions does make it a lot harder. Okay. But look, the facilities are great. We're very lucky to have a track. Some counties wouldn't. But if I were to say one thing, it would be nice, in a few years' time to have some sort of an indoor arena in Sligo. Would be amazing.
Yeah, and there's loads of great athletics clubs all around Sligo. It's not just one. So I mean, there's plenty of athletes out there engaged in it, and loads of good coaches, as you said.
Yeah.
And I suppose then, before we go, can we, as people in Sligo or people in Ireland watching you, how do we can we help or support you? Is it just to kind of keep following you, keep watching you, and get behind you when we can?
Oh, I don't think you can do any more. I've been overwhelmed the last few weeks. The support is always good, but this time was just to the next level. I just can't explain how crazy it was. So no, you can't do anything more.
Yes, okay.
It's just been amazing, and as this, Mona would say the same. If we can inspire kind of the next generation of Sligo athletes as well, that's our job is to do that. That's there were a lot of young guys, as I said, at the homecoming, and would have been watching on TV, and we had a long wait for Sligo Olympians to come, and then two come on, so hopefully it's not so long a wait. The next time I don't think it will be.
Okay, so I mean, and can you just tell us what's your Instagram and Twitter handle, so we can all keep an eye on you and we won't miss any of your big races?
Instagram,
Chris O'Donnell.
Chris _Don. CFC COD on.
That's Chelsea FC, is it, or something?
On Twitter would be me. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just great because look, I suppose everyone sees the big events sometimes and we forget that some of the other things. So I think it's good for us to keep an eye and follow. And who knows where it could be sponsorship, it could be help. You might need something. So it'd be great for the community to know where to watch what's coming up. Well, look, one thing I must say, yourself and Mona, and even some of the other young Irish Olympians, the way you spoke after events, is the Donegal guy on the horse, the gymnastics. He was amazing after it. And he made his mistake. I feel so sorry for him. Yeah. But the way you all spoke on camera, was amazing. And I hate this thing when these young people are, they're all snowflakes. I know people in their 40s who were more snowflakes. But the way you spoke, I think you're not only an inspiration to your sport, but to young people. And fair play. It was a joy watching you and being so proud as someone living in Sligo now, to watch you. So on behalf of Sligo and beyond, thanks for all you've done. You really inspired us all and gave us a great week or two there. It was great fun to watch. And all the best in the future. And thank you so much again for coming in to join us. It was a pleasure.
No, thanks. That's all I aim to do is inspire. And so thanks a million.
No problem. Well, that's all for our second. I never thought I'd say this, our second Olympics special. Again, thanks to Chris and thanks to IT Sligo for helping us put the show together. And we'll be back with our normal series, Series 2, in September. Thanks very much for joining us.